Did you know that the Titanic was labeled as unsinkable? This grand vessel, the Titanic, was more than just a ship. It was a symbol of human ingenuity and ambition, a floating palace that was believed to be beyond the reach of nature's whims. The conception of the Titanic began in the late 19th century, a time of rapid technological advancement and a fervor for the new and extraordinary. The ship was to be the largest and most luxurious of its kind, a testament to the limitless potential of human innovation. Every detail, from the grand staircase to the ornate dining rooms, was meticulously planned and constructed with an unwavering commitment to excellence. Yet it was not merely the Titanic's size and opulence that captured the world's imagination. It was the firm belief in the ship's invincibility that truly set it apart. Outfitted with state-of-the-art safety features of the time, including 16 watertight compartments and remotely activated watertight doors, the Titanic was touted as an unsinkable triumph of engineering. This confidence was not unfounded. The ship's designers and builders were some of the best in the world. They poured their knowledge, skill, and groundbreaking technology into the creation of the Titanic, believing they had outsmarted the unpredictable forces of the sea. The launch of the Titanic was met with great excitement and anticipation. It was more than just a ship setting sail, it was a beacon of human achievement embarking on its maiden voyage. People from all walks of life, from the wealthiest aristocrats to hopeful immigrants, were drawn to the Titanic, eager to be a part of this historic journey. But, as we now know, the Titanic's voyage was destined to be anything but ordinary. The unsinkable ship, the symbol of human triumph over nature, was about to face a challenge that would shake the world's faith in technology and progress. And so, with high hopes and grandeur, Titanic set sail on April 10, 1912. Little did they know, the journey that lay ahead would forever mark its place in history, not as a triumph, but as one of the most tragic maritime disasters of all time. The Titanic's maiden voyage was a spectacle of luxury and grandeur. On the 10th of April 1912, the glorious Titanic departed from Southampton, England, with much fanfare and anticipation. The city was abuzz, the air filled with excitement and hope, as the largest ship ever built embarked on its historic journey. Over the course of the first 4 days, the Titanic sailed smoothly through the waters, stopping briefly at Cherbourg, France, and then Queenstown, Ireland, before setting its course towards its final destination, New York City. The passengers on board were living a dream, experiencing the epitome of luxury. The Titanic was not simply a ship, it was a floating palace, equipped with state-of-the-art facilities and unparalleled accommodations. From the grandeur of the first-class suites to the comfort of the third-class cabins, every detail was meticulously planned and executed. The ship boasted an array of amenities, including a gymnasium, a swimming pool, a library, and even a squash court. Elegant dining rooms served exquisite meals, and there was an orchestra to entertain the passengers. The Titanic was a marvel of human ingenuity and ambition, a testament to the era's belief in progress and luxury. On board this magnificent vessel were a diverse range of passengers, each with their own stories and dreams. The first-class decks were graced by the presence of the wealthiest elites of the time, individuals who represented the epitome of success and influence. Meanwhile, the third-class cabins were filled with hopeful immigrants, individuals and families seeking a fresh start in the land of opportunity. The Titanic was a microcosm of society, a floating city where the rich and the poor lived side by side, all sharing the same dream of reaching the new world. It was a journey filled with hope and excitement, an adventure that promised to be the highlight of many lives. Little did they know, their dream voyage was about to turn into a nightmare. On the night of April 14, 1912, a fatal encounter with an iceberg changed everything. It was a calm, moonless night. Out of the darkness, a colossal, silent nemesis emerged, an iceberg. The Titanic, in its maiden voyage, was cruising at high speed in the North Atlantic when this unexpected adversary made its appearance. The ship's lookout spotted the iceberg, but it was too late. Despite the frantic efforts to veer the ship away, the Titanic collided with the iceberg. The impact was not a dramatic, shattering crash, but a sideswipe, a seemingly minor bump, which nonetheless sealed the fate of the ship and its passengers. In the immediate aftermath of the collision, the crew was thrown into a state of confusion and disbelief. The Titanic was dubbed the Unsinkable Ship, an engineering marvel. How could it be defeated by an iceberg? Even as water started to flood the compartments, the severity of the situation was not fully comprehended. The ship's architect, Thomas Andrews, was quickly summoned to assess the damage. His grim diagnosis was a death sentence for the Titanic. The iceberg had ruptured 5 of the ship's 16 watertight compartments. The fatal design flaw was revealed. The compartments were not capped at the top. As each compartment filled with water, the weight caused the bow to sink lower, causing water from the ocean to spill over into each succeeding compartment. There was a crucial delay in the response. The initial disbelief and inaction cost precious time that could have been used for evacuation. It was a race against time, a race they were destined to lose. In the early hours of April 15th, the reality finally dawned. The Titanic was sinking. The unsinkable ship was being defeated by the icy waters of the Atlantic. In less than 3 hours, the unsinkable Titanic was at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. As the reality of the situation set in, chaos and despair ensued. The Titanic, the unsinkable ship, was in fact sinking. A harsh truth that sent shockwaves of panic and fear among the passengers and crew. Imagine the scene: a grand ship, once filled with joy and laughter, now echoing with cries of desperation and the frantic hustle of people. The lifeboats, the only ray of hope in that dreadful situation, became the center of everyone's universe. Men, women, children, the old and the young all scrambled towards them, hoping to secure a spot, hoping to survive. But alas, the lifeboats were not enough. The Titanic, the marvel of human ingenuity, was equipped with only 20 lifeboats, a grossly inadequate number to accommodate the over 2,000 souls on board. Had they been filled to their full capacity, these boats could have saved around half of the passengers. But in the grip of chaos and confusion, they were launched half full. The mismanagement of the lifeboats' deployment added to the tragedy. Orders were misunderstood, protocol was forgotten, and panic reigned supreme. The women and children first policy was interpreted by some officers as women and children only, leaving many lifeboats to depart with empty seats while men were left standing on the deck. The lifeboats, initially seen as a precaution, had now become a life-and-death lottery. The air grew colder, the cries louder, and the situation more desperate with each passing minute. As the last lifeboat was lowered into the dark, icy waters of the Atlantic, a chilling fact became clear. Over 1,500 people were still on board the Titanic. As the last lifeboat was launched, over 1,500 people were still on board, left to face the cold, hard reality. The ship was sinking, and they were on it. The Titanic, once a symbol of luxury and grandeur, was now a beacon of chaos and despair. The final moments of the Titanic were both dramatic and tragic. The once magnificent vessel, dubbed the Unsinkable, was now a sinking colossus. As the stern rose into the air, the ship's structure could not bear the enormous strain. In a catastrophic twist, the Titanic split in two, a spectacle that struck fear into the hearts of those who watched from the lifeboats. The cold Atlantic air was filled with the sounds of the ship's demise, the groaning of metal, the crashing of objects, and above all the human cries for help. Meanwhile, those in the lifeboats could only watch in horrified silence as the disaster unfolded. Their faces were pale, their eyes wide with terror and disbelief. The sight of the sinking ship, once a symbol of human achievement, now a testament to human overreach and the power of nature, was a stark reminder of their own terrifying ordeal. The final moments of the Titanic were a horrifying spectacle, a stark reminder of the power of nature and the fragility of human life and ambition. It was a scene of chaos, despair, and ultimately, tragedy. In the early hours of April 15, 1912, the Titanic was lost, and with it more than 1,500 souls were plunged into the icy depths of the Atlantic, marking one of the deadliest peacetime maritime disasters in history. The Titanic's sinking left a profound impact on the world. In the immediate aftermath of the disaster, the ocean liner Carpathia raced to the scene, plucking survivors from the icy waters. Those saved were a mere 712, a stark contrast to the over 2,200 passengers and crew who had embarked on the voyage. This catastrophic loss of life sent shockwaves around the globe, plunging the world into mourning. News of the disaster traveled far and wide, appearing in newspapers and drawing rooms from New York to New Delhi. The world stood still, united in grief for the lives lost and in shock at the unthinkable tragedy that had befallen the unsinkable Titanic. This shock swiftly turned to outrage, sparking two major investigations, one by the United States Senate and the other by the British Board of Trade. Their findings highlighted the fatal flaws in maritime safety at the time. In response, significant changes were enacted. The International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea was established in 1914, introducing comprehensive safety measures, including sufficient lifeboats for all on board, 24-hour radio communications, and regular safety drills. And yet, the Titanic's legacy goes beyond these important reforms. The ship's story, with its blend of human ambition, tragedy, and bravery, has etched itself into the collective consciousness of humanity. It has inspired countless books, films, and songs, each retelling adding another layer to the Titanic's enduring mythos. Even now, over a century later, the Titanic remains a symbol of human folly and resilience. It serves as a poignant reminder of the cost of overconfidence, of the perils of disregarding nature's might. But it also stands testament to the indomitable human spirit, to the courage and self-sacrifice shown by many on that fateful night. Over a century later, the story of the Titanic still captivates and haunts us. The Titanic's final resting place was a mystery for many years. Lost in the vast, dark depths of the North Atlantic, the ship's wreckage laid undiscovered, silently holding the secrets of that fateful night in April 1912. But the enigma wouldn't last forever. Fast forward to the late summer of 1985. An ambitious joint American-French expedition led by Dr. Robert Ballard and Jean-Louis Michel made a breakthrough that would illuminate a chapter of history that had been shrouded in darkness for over 70 years. The Titanic was found, laying 2.5 miles beneath the ocean's surface. Since that landmark discovery, the wreckage site has been a focus of ongoing exploration and preservation efforts. Submersible vehicles have been dispatched to the depths, capturing startling images of the Titanic's rusting hulk and the ghostly debris field that surrounds it. These expeditions have brought back artifacts, tangible pieces of history that speak volumes about the lives of the passengers and the era they lived in. From delicate porcelain dishes bearing the White Star Line insignia, to personal belongings like eyeglasses and shoes, these artifacts offer us a window into the past. They've been exhibited in museums around the world, allowing us to reach out and touch a moment frozen in time. However, the recovery of these artifacts hasn't been without controversy. Ethical debates have sprung up around the site, pitting the desire to preserve history against the need to respect the final resting place of those who perished. The Titanic is more than a wreck. It's a maritime grave, a solemn memorial to the lives lost in one of the most infamous disasters of the 20th century. Efforts to protect the site and its artifacts are ongoing, as are debates about how best to balance exploration, preservation, and respect for the dead. But one thing is certain: the Titanic continues to captivate us over a century after its ill-fated voyage. Today, the Titanic lies as a solemn reminder of a tragedy that shook the world. The Titanic's story is more than just a shipwreck. It's a poignant reminder of a bygone era, brimming with ambition and grandeur, yet struck by a tragedy that echoes through time. It's a tale of human achievement, building the unsinkable ship, a marvel of its time, but it's also a stark reminder of the hubris of man, underestimating the power of nature, resulting in a disaster that shook the world. It's a narrative of the Maiden Voyage, filled with excitement and anticipation, but ended in despair and loss. The iceberg, the sinking, the chaos, and the aftermath all paint a vivid picture of the human struggle for survival. I hope you enjoy this video. If you have any interesting stories you want me to cover next, I would love to hear in the comment section. Don't forget to check out our channel for more quality content. That was Unzipped Universe, and I will see you next time.